Why do we break it down? So that we can have clarity to it, so that we can comprehend it, consume it, embrace it. And that's that energy. We're here, the other one, lack of understanding, lack of energy, lack of communication, lack of answer, lack of restoration.
Yeah, lack of effort. No, and
hard. It goes even deeper, even though it has the title of your professional career or your work. It goes deeper. It's like, how deep can you go in the kiddie pool? Not very deep, right? I mean, you could try to go deeper, but I think it's like, I don't know, 18 inches maybe, I don't know. I mean, you could just sit there and try and go deeper in the kiddie pool, but it ain't gonna happen. No matter how hard you try, right? That's why one of these is not enough. We have to go deeper. Well, to go deeper, you got to get into a deeper pool so that you have the opportunity to go deeper. See, once you have understanding, then your mind shuts down. Wants to wrap it up in a bow and punt it down the street and say, I know that, I'm not doing it anymore. That was a bitch to even get to the 18 inches. Kiddie pool. Subconsciously, you don't want to go any deeper.
So true.
And that's why religion, belief, is that comfortable place. And that's why people congregate there. You know, it's like not everyone's over at the high dive. They started at the kiddie pool, and then they went to a little bit of the free swim, which floaties on area, and then they were hanging out in the deep end, doing flips off the side of the pool, and then they went up to the little diving board at my mother-in-law's that has no spring on it, and when you go to jump on it, but it's considered a diving board because it's off the pool. And then you go up to like a real diving board. Have you all been on a real diving board? Like you see in the Olympics? Wow. You know, a lot of people make fun of diving. Well, I think they make fun of the outfits. It is incredibly hard just to approach the first jump. And scary. Like, I've done it a ton, and it still rattles me. Because that frickin' board goes way down while you're going up. And somehow you've got to time it right where you hit the board in the right, so it comes back up to catch you and go down all at the same time. So that then it springs you up into the air. And then we're talking just a regular diving board. We're not talking about anything crazy up in the air. Nothing like that. But it's big. You're way out there over the pond. There's no, you could go to slip off to the right, slip off to the left. If you do not execute your approach, you're screwed. And then you go up to the next one. Then you go up to the next one. And so each place that you're going to requires a certain approach to it. You can't do the same thing that you did that got you to the last milestone, the awareness, the, ooh, this is cool, quantum field. You know, I'm really paying attention in the quantum field. Ooh, look at that, I can see it going around. And you can't just do the same thing as you approach the new level of mindness, because it's not going to be enough. It may be the start of it. That's why repetition is the mother of all skill. You know how you felt when the first time they talked you into diving into the water off the side of the pool. And then the first time you did a flip of some sort, if you were talked into that. Scared to death. It goes back to that whole video. I didn't even realize this, but it's like that first kiss. Or that first going out on the job by yourself and being in charge of drilling. It's the first whatever. You couldn't wait to get there. You never thought you would. And then there was a moment in time where you did. And then what happened? What comes after first base?
Second.
I mean, just using this as an analogy, you could be a baseball player or you could look at it a different way, but everything, every position, every level, once you get to the first part, you don't just go, oh no, I'm good at first. Automatically, inside of you, you're thinking about second. Automatically inside of you, you're like, wow, I just hit a base run here. Just got on first base. Man, how can I get on second base this time? Well, first you got to get on first, and then you can get on second. But just doing what you did to get on first is not enough to get on second. Period. You have to approach it differently. You have to analyze it. You have to look at it. You have to execute it. Maybe you change your elbow position a little bit so you get a little bit more arc so it goes over the first baseman's head. Maybe you change your trajectory. Maybe you swing a little bit harder. Move your hips through. Same thing with the first time you kissed a girl. Or maybe a boy. I don't know. You got there and immediately you were thinking about second base. And so maybe the next time you changed your hairstyle, maybe you wore a little bit cleaner of a shirt, maybe you made sure that your breath, you had actually brush your teeth this week. You did all the same things, but your approach was different. You were more prepared. You had identified who you were, and where you came from, which allowed you to then move to the next position, move to the next level of awareness, move to the next level of mindfulness. See, the Muse headband people, they're talking to me. Like, why isn't this guy, like I talked to corporate office a couple months ago when I first got it. And, we had a long conversation, 20, 30 minutes. In the corporate world, that's a long time for somebody that you've never met and is not a potential, like, huge client on that level. But I just shared my experience, strength, and purpose with them, and they were just like blown away. So they're asking me, where are you, basically? Like, how come we're not hearing from you? And what I told them is that because I know who I am and where I came from, I'm not just gonna present another tool for it to be used incorrectly and then be pushed aside as everyone waits for the next tool. It sounds like a lot like a addict, doesn't it? It's like, hurry up, give me the hit. Alright. You don't even spend time in enjoying it. You're already on your way looking for the hit again. Alright, who's got it? Where's it at? How much is it? Boom, boom, boom. You don't even allow yourself to be in the moment of the high, if you will. Which the drug is simply a tool. To be in the high. To experience highness. To experience a different level of mind. And so this, or the Muse headband, or the oils, or the tapping, or the structured water, or the infrared light, or the hang upside down, or the fill in the blank, if not presented properly, just becomes another tool. And see, I know who I am and my responsibility, and I am unwilling to participate in the insanity that is not life restoration, that is mainstream recovery or addiction help or whatever you want to call it. I'm so aware of looking at all these things, why they work, why they don't work, all these different things. I respect the Muse headband so much in its potential ability to position others for life restoration. I am not willing to just put it out there and let it get turned into a red-headed stepchild, if you will. I respect it too much. Like, some people spent some time on this stuff. I've experienced it. I could just bring it to you and we could play a video and everyone try it out and tell me how good you feel. I could participate in your insanity. Or I could hold it back and consistently look at all the different aspects of it so that when it gets in front of you, it is something that becomes part of you. That you're not willing to put it aside for the next hit, the next tool. You know what? That takes a lot of damn work. I realize today that it is completely opposite of any model, recovery model, business model that I'm aware of. Why? because it takes a lot of my time, and it does not create a lot of these currently. What do I care about? My time. I care about myself. If I'm going to invest myself into something, time being the greatest thing, most valuable thing that I have, I'm going to make sure that I get the most out of it, as well as my responsibility. I also care about the people closest to me and what happens to them next. I don't just fly in on Tuesdays for the 6 o'clock meeting and peddle my drugs to you, and then I'm out. Deuces, see you next week. Like, I'm invested into you guys. I'm invested into the words that come out of my mouth. I'm invested into the thoughts and ideas that I have. I'm invested in the reply email that I send to the Muse headband people, because I respect the potential results of infinite possibilities with this organization and us and what we're doing, and you and your current positions. I'm seeing things at a completely different level. And Jacob can attest to this. It can be very overwhelming. And today I have been very overwhelmed at times. I don't even know I'm getting emotional just because I'm aware of it. But I was sitting here redoing the camera stuff, and Robin called me. It was just me and Jake. And she's like asking me all these questions about her stuff. And it was like somebody taking a trash can full of dookie into my dump truck that is already spilling dookie over the sides of responsibility. And I allowed that to dictate my response. It wasn't too terrible, but I was aware that it probably was not the best. And then I asked myself, why? And then I said, because you're not Superman. You're so aware of so many different things, taking responsibility for so much, changing so much personally as well as corporately, that if you don't breathe, if you don't eat, if you don't meditate, if you're not aware of who you are, you're just going to become another statistic. And what I do know is that the other part of the why is all this stuff affecting me so much is because I'm so freaking invested. It is running through my veins. It has consumed me. It is me. And the undeniable part about all of this is that it takes time. I mean, you can try and bake a cake in half the time. What happens? Because I didn't invest the time. Did I do the work? I mixed the ingredients, but I didn't allow the time to happen. And so, even to this new person that I'm looking at for different things, Mr. Gary V, You know, everything is about time. That's part of the recipe, if you will. It's the willingness to go through all of this process and get to this place, and then wake up in the morning and go, okay, I'm ready for some more. Well, there's a recipe. And part of that recipe is time, and part of that recipe is investment. Part of that time is willingness. Part of that time is awareness. Part of that recipe is awareness. And that's the whole point. It's like you can't do the work if you're not at least as aware as you were here. You have to be at least as aware as you were here to go to the next level. Has that ever been any thought or a question that you've asked yourself before you got started on the work? Like, hold on a second, let me check my position. When the wind, north, south, east, west, how do I feel? What's my heart rate? Have I eaten today? Am I stressed out? How did I sleep last night? Am I taking on things that are not my responsibility? All of these questions before you start reading and answer question 1. Why? Because it's part of the recipe. I don't make the rules. I'm just aware of them. And so you also can't say, oh, well, it's not the perfect time. I don't feel exactly the way that I felt right then and there, so I'm not going to do the work. I'm going to wait for the perfect time. Perfect feeling. Well, no, you have to create the perfect time, the perfect feeling. So if there's confusion, you got to clarify it. If you can't clarify it with the Webster's Dictionary, then you got to clarify it by opening your mouth to the people closest to you. What does this mean to you? What does this mean to you? What does this mean? When you read this, what does it say? How do you answer it? And then after that, hey Jason, I've read, I've researched, I've asked, and I still have confusion about this. Can you clarify it for me? Oh yeah, sure. Then now you've done everything that you can do to create the same place so that you can answer your question. So you can do the work. So you can go do shit.